In a world cluttered with information, where truth is power, Lawin Weekly News stands apart.
We delve deeper, uncover facts, and bring stories to light. From political showdowns and economic triumphs to the pulse of the street and the heart of the community.
We capture the moments that define us, stories that challenge, inspire, and transform.
Tune in live Sundays 8 a.m. Central Standard Time and Sundays 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
These are Lawin headlines for this week. Judge declares Texas prison heat unconstitutional, but holds off on AC ruling. Texas honors Carol Keaton with flags at half-staff. Oklahoma woman shares traumatic bachelorette trip ordeal in Dallas. San Antonio police seek new leads in 6-year-old murder case. Trump administration takes steps to shut down USAID. Duterte celebrates 80th birthday in an ICC cell. Gunther Sales, Governor Greg Abbott talked Filipino-American contributions. Marcos celebrates Alex Ila's amazing, historic run at 2025 Miami Open. Lisa Longa to star as villain in The Cleaning Lady, Season 4.
I am Nesca, and tonight we bring you the latest stories in the United States of America, especially in the state of Texas. So sit back, relax, and let Lawin Weekly News be your guide to the news that matters most. A federal judge in Texas ruled that the extreme heat in state prisons is unconstitutional, according to a lawsuit brought by inmates, yet no immediate enforcement to install air conditioning has been ordered. Judge Robert Pittman said the plaintiffs, inmates who took legal action against the state, have a strong chance of winning their case. Pittman's decision emphasized the health risks faced by inmates due to high temperatures within the prison facilities. The case arose from complaints about the lack of air conditioning in many Texas prisons, leading to allegations of cruel and unusual punishment. The inmates' lawsuit presented evidence regarding heat-related illnesses suffered by those incarcerated. The lawsuit also included testimonies from experts and former prison officials regarding the dangers of excessive heat exposure. Texas prison officials argued that they provide heat relief measures, including fans and access to cold showers. The judge acknowledged the efforts made by prison authorities, but deemed them insufficient to counteract the extreme conditions. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice has not yet issued a statement following Judge Pittman's ruling. A Texas House committee has unanimously rejected House Bill 274, which proposed to establish a District of Austin under state control. Authored by Representative Briscoe Cain, a Republican from Houston, the bill aimed to allow the state to amend or repeal city laws and ordinances in Austin. The House State Affairs Committee voted 0-11 against the measure, effectively halting its progress. The proposal intended to create a governmental entity named the District of Austin to serve as the seat of state government. The bill would have granted the state authority over local laws, policies, and ordinances within the city. Representative Cain, the bill's sponsor, introduced the legislation with concerns about Austin's governance and its ability to manage issues like violent crime. He defended the bill during the committee hearing, stating it was necessary for holding Austin accountable to state standards. The Galveston-Houston Immigrant Representation Project, or GHIRP, has filed a lawsuit against federal agencies including the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, its Office of Refugee Resettlement, and the U.S. Department of the Interior over legal services for unaccompanied immigrant children. The lawsuit was filed following the non-renewal of a federal contract that funds nonprofits like GHIRP, which provide essential legal services to unaccompanied children. GHIRP, based in Texas, joins several other nonprofits in seeking judicial intervention to restore funding and ensure these vital services remain available to vulnerable children. Unaccompanied children often rely on these legal services to navigate the complex immigration system and to protect against potential trafficking and abuse. The federal contract previously funded a network of nonprofit organizations dedicated to providing legal aid to unaccompanied minors. The organizations involved in the lawsuit emphasized the importance of these services in upholding the rights and well-being of immigrant children. Flags were lowered to half-staff across Texas to honor Carol Keaton, a notable public servant who passed away recently. Governor Greg Abbott issued the order for the flags to be flown at half-staff to pay tribute to Keaton's contributions to the state. Keaton, who was also known as a Carol Keaton Strayhorn, had a distinguished career in Texas politics. She served as a mayor of Austin from 1977 to 1983, marking her as the first woman to hold that position. Her career also included roles as a Texas Railroad Commissioner and the State Comptroller. Abbott emphasized the importance of recognizing Keaton's dedication and service to Texas. He invited others across the state to join in marking her passing by lowering their flags. The flag lowering order underscores the state's respect and acknowledgement of Keaton's legacy. Authorities in Austin announced the arrest of 11 women accused of a series of car burglaries in the city's parks. The Austin Police Department, or APD, identified a pattern in the thefts, leading to a focused investigation on suspects operating in these public areas. Police officials noted that the suspects targeted vehicles parked in secluded spots within the parks. The women were apprehended during a coordinated operation involving multiple units, including burglary details and surveillance teams. Police detained the suspects after they were allegedly caught in the act of breaking into a vehicle at a local park. Detective Mark Johnson of the APD stated that the suspects used sophisticated methods, including tools to bypass car locks. He emphasized the importance of community cooperation in identifying and arresting the suspects. Investigators are continuing to examine the evidence and interrogate the suspects to uncover additional details about their operation. A bride-to-be from Oklahoma was assaulted and rendered unconscious during her bachelorette party in Dallas, Texas. The Dallas Police Department is actively investigating the incident that occurred over a weekend where the woman was celebrating with friends. The victim, identified as 27-year-old Canada Rinaldi, had traveled to Dallas to celebrate her impending wedding. The celebration, however, turned tragic when an unknown assailant attacked her outside a club in the Deep Ellum neighborhood, a popular entertainment district in this city. The police report indicates that the attack happened late last night as Rinaldi and her friends were enjoying their outing. The attacker, who remains unidentified, reportedly punched Rinaldi without provocation, causing her to lose consciousness. Emergency services were called to the scene, and she was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. Authorities were not or have not released further details about the suspect or the motive behind the attack. Investigators are exploring all possible leads and have expressed confidence in locating and apprehending the assailant. The San Antonio Police Department is continuing its investigation into the unsolved murder of 25-year-old Oscar Allen Thompson, who was shot in the head 6 years ago while driving a friend home on the west side of San Antonio. Authorities report that Thompson was shot by a passing vehicle and the case remains open. Detectives are actively seeking new information to help solve the crime, with the San Antonio Police Department reaffirming its commitment to bringing justice to Thompson and his family. Investigators are working to gather new leads or evidence that may have surfaced over the years. They are hopeful that someone with knowledge of the incident will come forward. The police department has urged the public to assist in the investigation by providing any relevant information. A $100,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to an arrest and conviction in the case. This reward aims to encourage individuals with knowledge of the crime to share their information with authorities. The San Antonio Police Department has emphasized the importance of community involvement in solving cases like this, underscoring the role citizens play in providing tips and information that can lead to breakthroughs. The United States Supreme Court has upheld federal regulations on ghost guns. Firearms assembled from kits or 3D printed, which lack serial numbers and are difficult to trace when used in crimes. The ruling supports regulations from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives or ATF, requiring manufacturers and sellers of ghost guns to comply with federal standards, including serialization and background checks for buyers. The case stemmed from a legal challenge in which plaintiffs argued that the ATF exceeded its authority and violated Second Amendment rights. The Supreme Court, in a majority decision, sided with the government, affirming that regulating ghost guns is essential for public safety. The court clarified that the ATF has the authority to regulate firearms without serial numbers. The new regulation requires that key parts in gun kits sold to consumers have serial numbers and that buyers undergo background checks, ensuring that these firearms are subject to the same legal standards as traditional firearms. The Trump administration announced on Friday its plan to close the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, as part of efforts to reduce foreign aid spending. The Department of State and USAID informed Congress of their intention to reorganize the agency, a move that has sparked significant criticism. President Donald Trump signaled these changes in January by signing an executive order that froze U.S. foreign aid for 90 days. Since then, the administration has sought to dismantle U.S. aid by eliminating 5,800 of the agency's 6,200 multi-year contract awards, resulting in a $54 billion cut. Administration officials have also discussed placing U.S. aid under the authority of the State Department, raising concerns about the future of the agency. The proposed cuts are expected to impact regions like the Middle East and North Africa. Former President Rodrigo Duterte celebrated his 80th birthday on Friday inside an International Criminal Court or ICC detention cell in The Hague, Netherlands. Duterte typically marked his birthdays quietly with his family in Davao City. This year, his birthday celebration occurred in solitary confinement due to his detention by the ICC. Duterte's supporters organized rallies and prayers advocating for his return to the Philippines. The ICC detained Duterte as part of ongoing investigations into his administration's anti-drug campaign. The former president has denied all accusations related to the ICC investigation. The Canada Border Services Agency or CBSA deported a Venezuelan national, causing distress for his Canadian partner, who claims he has no ties to criminal activities or gang affiliations. The 29-year-old Venezuelan Henry Albornoz was deported after living in Canada for several years. He came to Canada seeking safety from the turmoil in his home country. The deportation decision was based on alleged associations and activities considered undesirable by Canadian authorities. His partner argues that these claims are baseless. Her statement aligns with his history, as there is no documented criminal record in Canada or Venezuela to suggest otherwise. The CBSA has not provided detailed information on why they labeled him a security threat. The agency typically does not comment on specific cases due to privacy laws, but has made a public statement emphasizing that deportations are based on security assessments and intelligence information. The Venezuelan's partner is seeking to reverse a deportation decision, and she has initiated legal proceedings for a review of his case and hopes to gather evidence to prove his innocence and right to remain in Canada. Consul General Gunther Salas met with the Texas Governor Greg Abbott at a reception organized by the Office of the Governor on March 24 in Austin. The two discussed Texas international relations and the role of the Filipino-American community in the state's economy and development. Salas outlined the contributions of the Filipino-American and Filipino diaspora to Texas growth and diversity. He noted that the Filipino community is one of the largest in the state. Abbott focused on areas for future international collaboration, including space exploration, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and energy. He mentioned Texas' position in these sectors. The reception followed an educational forum for members of the Texas Consular Corps, where officials from the Office of the Governor discussed the state's socio-economic achievements and programs. Among the speakers were Jane Nelson, Secretary of State Adriana Cruz, the Executive Director of Texas Economic Development and Tourism, and Aaron Demerson, President and CEO of the Texas Economic Development Corporation.
Tune into Legal Treats with attorney Eileen Ligote Dizon
every Friday 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
Get your weekly dose of legal knowledge, especially on family matters like divorce, child custody, child support, estate planning, probate and immigration.
Engage in discussion by posting your questions or comments during the show.
See you this Friday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That would be Saturday at 7:30 a.m. Philippines. Don't miss out.
The Cleveland Cavaliers secured a 124-116 victory over the San Antonio Spurs in an NBA game held on Thursday with key contributions from Jarrett Allen and Darius Garland. Jarrett Allen scored 29 points and secured 15 rebounds for the Cavaliers. Darius Garland added crucial 5 points in the final 1-16 of the game. The Cavaliers, leading by 5 points at halftime, maintained their advantage despite the Spurs' attempt to overturn the game. By the end of the third quarter, the Cavaliers led by 3 points. The Cavaliers improved their season record to 59-14, with this win. The game took place at the Cleveland Cavaliers' home venue. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Saturday praised Alexandra Ayala for her historic performance at the 2025 Miami Open. Ayala, a Filipino tennis player, became the first from her country to reach the semifinals of a WTA 1000 event. She entered the competition or the tournament as a wild card and began ranked 140th. Yala's journey in the Miami Open included a win against Iga Swiatek, a top-seeded Grand Slam champion. Her performance in the tournament elevated her results in the global tennis community and solidified her position in the WTA's top 100. Yala's impressive run ended in a match against Jessica Pegula in the semifinals. He expressed the nation's support and encouragement for her continued success on the global stage. Alexandra Ayala continues to inspire as she represents the Philippines in international tennis competitions. Selena Quintanilla, the iconic queen of Tejano music, was posthumously honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2021 Grammy Awards on March 14. Selena, who died at the age of 23, left an indelible mark on the music world. In 1994, her album Live won a Grammy Award for Best Mexican-American Album, making her the first female Tejano artist to receive the honor. During the Grammy ceremony, Selena's family shared memories of her first Grammy experience. Her widower, Chris Perez, expressed pride of her accomplishments and reflected on the lasting influence she continues to have on her fans around the world. Selena's music continues to resonate across cultural boundaries. The Lifetime Achievement Award serves as a recognition of her enduring impact on the music industry and her lasting legacy. Lea Salonga, Tony Award-winning Broadway icon, will appear as a guest star in the fourth season of Fox's crime drama, The Cleaning Lady, which premiered on Tuesday. Salonga, known for showcasing her diverse acting skills, will play a character described as not so nice and trouble. The crime drama centers around Tony De La Rosa, played by Elodie Young, a Cambodian Filipino doctor who becomes a cleaning lady entangled in the criminal underworld to save her son. The series has been praised for its portrayal of the immigrant experience and representation of Southeast Asians, featuring Filipino-Australian actress Martha Milan as a central character. Beyond her role in The Cleaning Lady, Salonga celebrated the presence of Filipinos in Hollywood and Broadway, noting that on March 31, she, Darren Criss, Nicole Scherzinger, and Eva Noblezada will lead major Broadway productions. Salonga stars in Cameron Mackintosh's production of Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends, co-starring with Bridget Peters. Old Friends features songs from renowned musicals such as Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods, serving as a tribute to Sondheim's legacy. Previews for Old Friends began on Tuesday, with opening night set for April 8. As we brace ourselves for the upcoming weather changes, let's dive into what you can expect day by day. Whether you're planning outdoor activities or just preparing for the week, we've got you covered with the most accurate forecast. Stay tuned with us as we take a closer look at the weather patterns that will impact our region. Remember, here at Lawin Weekly News, we bring you the clearest skies to the stormiest forecasts.
Here's the weather forecast from March 23rd to March 29th in Houston, Texas. On March 30th, Sunday, the highest temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, with a low of 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Expect partly cloudy skies throughout the day. On March 31st, Monday, the highest temperature is 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius, with a low of 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius. Anticipate rainy conditions. On April 1st, Tuesday, the highest temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, with a low of 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius. The day will be partly cloudy. On April 2nd, Wednesday, the highest temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, with a low of 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 degrees Celsius. Expect partly cloudy conditions. On April 3rd, Thursday, the highest temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius, with a low of 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Anticipate clear skies throughout the day. On April 4th, Friday, the highest temperature is 73 degrees Fahrenheit, 23 degrees Celsius, with a low of 61 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees Celsius. Expect rainy conditions. On April 5th, Saturday, the highest temperature is 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius, with a low of 63 degrees Fahrenheit, 17 degrees Celsius. The day will be partly cloudy.
So those were the latest stories in Texas this week. I am Nesca Santina from Lawin Media Network. Have a great day.
Lawin Weekly News.
Tune in live Sundays 8 a.m. Central Standard Time and Sundays 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Lawin Weekly News.